Hey scrappers, we have had so many people commenting on our blogs asking about, do you think it's worth becoming a full-time scrapper? What do I need to think about? So we just took some time, we took some notes down. What's nice about running a scrapyard since 2007 is I've seen a lot of full-time scrappers. I've seen guys that have, taken really slow roads where they started scrapping on their own. A gentleman I know named Mike started just doing it part-time. He had a job and he had a little Volkswagen and he was just scrapping a little bit here or there, whatever he could find, but he liked the work, right? And liking the work and liking the hustle is really important. And fast forward to today, Mike has 3 employees. He's continuing to hustle, but what's really important is he's hands-on. He knows what it takes to be able to, weather these hard days. And while I may not be a day-to-day scrapper, as a scrapyard owner, I've had plenty of problems myself. I remember chasing guys down when they had loads of aluminum in the back of their car and I was driving home and I would follow them just to be able to gain customers. So the hustle is so hard to do that, it's easy when prices are up. In early 2022, we saw steel markets, 250, 400 a ton for light and heavy grades of steel. And that's easy, right? That's easy to make money when you have 10,000 pounds and you're getting triple the price or double the price that you were. But what's not easy is knowing that when the markets drop to 130, 170 bucks a ton, that you're going to have to hustle 2 to 3 times as hard to make that same money. But by constantly putting that hustle in, you're going to be able to gain a lot of contacts, a lot of things. So there's a bunch of things that I suggest. Again, these are all suggestions. You don't have to agree with any of them. I only want you to be able to make more money, right? That's what we try to do here, promote how to make more money, what to do to make more money. So, you have to enjoy the hustle. You have to it doesn't have to be scrap. As long as you enjoy hustling all of the time, that's really important. So if you don't mind putting in hard work, that's going to be one of your hardest obstacles to tackle. Second, we got to talk money and we got to talk about it early. If you don't have $5,000 to $10,000 in a bank account specifically to back your scrapping or your new full-time scrapping career, I suggest holding off for a little while because, if you're quitting a full-time job that has healthcare and things like that, you're not only going to need to pay your day-to-day bills, you need to set up new business accounts. You need to be able to, you might not incorporate first day, but you need to do things in different ways because ultimately you're going to have to pay taxes. You're going to have to get healthcare. You want to be able to know what you're doing and handling your finances. While you may think that it's easy, when you go off on your own, and I've learned this, running my own company, it's really, really difficult. You need to make sure that you're, if you're invoicing people, that you get paid quickly. If you're going to sell material, that you're selling it correctly, that you're tracking the payments. And sometimes what happens, and it's happened to me, is I go out there and I might do 3 or 4 jobs in a day and I take care of 3 payments, but I forget to pay the 4th one, or I forget to get the 4th one in, or it's delayed in coming in, and then the next day 3 or 4 things come in. And these are things that happen. There are inconsistencies all over the place. I've had days at Rockaway Recycling where I sat here by myself from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, getting half a dozen to a dozen customers in. And when you have rent to pay, insurance to pay, these are expensive things, and you need to, again, go to lesson, step number 1, you gotta hustle. And you have to know that it could be a long road to build things up. Fast forward from 2007 to 2022, we went from me working by myself to 25 employees. That didn't happen overnight. 15-year progression took a really long time to build things up, to be able to have a support staff and to be able to fix your trucks and having the right tools. And mentally, you gotta be ready to grind. Man, you gotta be ready to grind because it is long, it is hard, there are long hours. You need to be able to know prices, and having tools like the iScrap app and knowing where the markets are and following things. Those are all of the things that you need to be able to really focus on. And now listen, if you become a full-time scrapper, that means there's no more PTO, that means there's no more vacation, there's no more sick times. That stuff disappears. In 15 years of working full-time, I have called out of work once, and it was because I was throwing up violently in the parking lot. I was already here. I worked till 10 o'clock and I just had to go home because I couldn't do anything anymore. You know, maybe a couple of surgeries thrown in there that I could plan for, but you know, if you need time off, you have to know that those days that you're taking off, you're not going to be making money. You have to be mentally ready for that. You need to be able to make sure that your money is in check so you can take time off. You know, you could have a really great day and a really bad day in back-to-back days. A lot of inconsistencies. And one thing that I've pushed at Rockaway Recycling is safety. How do you know how to work safe? What tools do you have? Have you taken OSHA courses? Everyone thinks OSHA is such a bad thing, but anyone can become trained in an OSHA 10 or an OSHA 30, and those simple courses give you a lot of little things that really lead to big preventative measures. And let's say you're talking about lifting something heavy, you find a great job and you have a big boiler that you're gonna cut up or lift or something like that. You're one person. How are you gonna be able to pick that up? Do you have backup? If you can't hire a full-time helper, you know, do you have someone that you know that you could pay for a couple of hours of work? You know, if you're looking at the weather, transportation, how are you going to tackle those things? Do you know what the weather is if you're working outside? Do you have the right gear? Do you know what the weather is when you're pulling something on? You know, we've had people that work at Rockaway Recycling, and when it's 95 degrees and you're working outside under the sun and you're not drinking a couple of bottles of water an hour and having people remind you to do that, you could get heat stroke. You know, what if your truck breaks down? Do you have backup methods? You know, at Rockaway Recycling, I've been able to contact local truck dealers, find out if they have rental trucks that are available. I've even rented trucks from companies like U-Haul or these Penske's, because if my box truck breaks down and customers are still expecting me to be there, if I'm not there the next day, they might be calling someone else and I might be losing that business. You know, are you going to use your personal cell phone as your work cell phone? Are you going to pay for a bunch of advertising methods that don't make any sense? You know, if you don't know how to do marketing, are you just going to put your name on a bunch of Post-it notes and stick them to people's doors? Are you going to print things out? You need to be able to think about these things. You start going off on your own. Maybe you start as a part-time thing. Maybe you start looking at expensing some things out. So now if you're driving around picking up scrap and that's your full-time thing, you shouldn't be paying cash for your gas. You should be expensing that because it becomes a business thing. And these are all a bunch of little things: paying taxes, getting insurance, proper vehicles, proper inspections, proper towing methods, proper safety. Everything at Rockaway Recycling is based around safety. If we work safe, we will then make money. But if we don't work safe, we will never make money because we put ourselves at risk, both in our team, both in, you know, to customers. All of these things are things that you need to be able to keep in mind. That being said, if you know how to hustle, you can be a great full-time scrapper. And here's the beauty of it. Try it. If you don't like it, if you're unhappy at your current job, and you can line up scrapping part-time, then become full-time. If you don't like it, you don't have to put 2 weeks notice in. You can immediately start looking for a full-time job somewhere else because it is not cut out for everyone. You know, you might be someone that has a back problem. It might not be for you. It's a physically, you know, tough job. And while we love the industry that we're in, we know that we do a lot of smart things, but we've done those smart things by listening to people like me right now. You know, other people have instilled this knowledge in me that I'm now giving to you, and experience certainly helps. So hopefully if you're looking to be a full-time scrapper, this gives you a little insight. If you have anything to add to it, let us know. Until next time, scrappers, I'll scrap you later. If you're going to keep anything in mind, think about these 5 things. How do you work safe? How do you hustle always? How are you mentally strong enough to get through tough days? How are your finances? And how's your paperwork for things like insurance? If you can tackle those 5 things, you'll be able to be on the right path to then tackling things like marketing and job growth. Thanks for checking out our scrap videos. By becoming a Patreon supporter today, you'll be entered into monthly giveaways for tools and other products to help you make more money with your scrap.